Welcome to my YouTube channel, everybody. My name is Benjamin Poole, one of the head traders at Verified Investing. I have a couple charts that I'm going to go over with you. I'm going to go over Apple. I'm going to go over Tesla, and I'm also going to go over NVIDIA. Apple is getting a little bit of a pullback. Tesla is at the midline of a parallel channel, and NVIDIA is starting to get more in a downtrend. So I'm going to show you where some support is and where the next possible buy level is. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go over Apple. I have some really cool things to show you. There's actually a hidden trend line that has been respecting either both support and resistance. A lot of people wonder, do you only have to take the all-time highs or the all-time low pivots in order to find support and resistance? And the answer is no. Sometimes if you go back far enough, you can actually see trends that had both broken to the upside and the downside. The key is to find those trends that are hidden in the midline of this price choppiness and see where the next support and resistance is. So check this out. Here's the first chart of Apple. So this actually does take the all-time highs, right? So this was the high in December 2021, secondary pivot high in the 20th, around the 20th of December 2024. And then this current pivot high right here on Apple from December 1st of 2025. I haven't, although it is a high pivot, and this is the third hit of this upswing trend line. This is currently where price has gotten rejected. And so for me right now, this upswing trend line is giving me signals that this is a potential reversal opportunity for Apple. Another thing that I'm looking at, I have you guys right here in the chart, so I might as well bring this up because it's already on the charts. Here's taking the pivot lows from Apple, creating this upsloping trend line. So it connects this low right here from the 5th of August, secondary hit right here from the 16th of October. I've taken those two pivots, drawn a line, stretched it out. This was the third hit. I do anticipate a little bit of a bounce if Apple does get to this trend line. And then the fifth hit would be a breakdown and could get a move all the way down to this pivot top right here at about $260. If it continues to fall, Apple is going to fall a little bit more. You can have these pretty massive rollovers in the stock of Apple. So don't be too worried, or don't. I guess what I'm saying is don't be too surprised if it happens. There we go. That's the word I was trying to use. Now, check this out. I'm going to have to zoom out even further in the charts. I've seen, I was just noticing before I hopped on here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pivot high, connect it through this pivot high, and watch what happens. Connects this pivot, and then look at how many times price action either gets support or resistance off of this upsloping trend line. Look at that. Can you play it only when it's the support and resistance right here? Absolutely not. You can still play this when you get a far enough extended move to the downside. Once it gets back into that level, you're going to have a resistance. As you can see, got back up, got resistance here, got resistance again, finally got above it. You did have this this crash right here from the August lows. However, once price action got above it, you got the support, a little bit of a rejection, got underneath. So this support level is going to be really big if price action can get into this level, wherever it is. That'll be about a 16% move to the downside. When I talk about hidden trend lines, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You want to go back far enough in the charts to find these hidden trend lines, and you can really see where the support and or resistance is going to be on a particular chart, like especially something like Apple that's been around a long time. Also, you want to do is connect it with another potential support level. So let's say if it dropped down here on the 29th of December, you'll notice not only do you have this trend line, but look at how it lines up exactly with this low pivot or this gap fill at $237, but also this pivot high. This would be a great opportunity to pick this up for a long play, especially knowing how well the support is received when it gets up there, or when it bounces. You can get nice 10, 15% moves to the upside. Not only that, but if it got there pretty quickly, look at what would happen. The RSI would get probably pretty close to the 30. And as you can see, once price action gets so far down on Apple, or actually this chart in particular, it gets a lot of bidding up, and the stock price pushes higher. All right, so that's what I have on Apple. Next, I'm going to go over Tesla. It is in a midline of a parallel channel, and I love to play midlines because the midline gives you an idea of where another hidden channel is, or a hidden trend line, without you having to think about where to draw it. It automatically draws it in there for you. So let's go ahead and go over the Tesla chart. Here's a chart of Tesla. I've connected these lows. It's not the all-time lows. Usually I like to pick the pivots. However, a stock like Tesla can get a lot of momentum behind it. And that's why you get these big rejections below this upsloping parallel channel. Once price starts to slow down a little bit, you have a little bit less volatility. It does pierce a little. However, look at how many times this thing has bounced on the lower end of this parallel channel. Drawing this, yellow trend line. This is the midline of this parallel channel. Notice how it's respected the midline pretty intensively. So every time it's gotten up there, it's gotten rejected. And then as soon as it doesn't get rejected, it becomes support, support, and support. So this should give us an opportunity to enter this for a short trade. And not only that, but you're coming up back into the all-time high around $473. Excuse me, not the all-time high. All-time high is $488. So this would be my key support level if it can, or a resistance level if it can get rejected. And then what I'll do is I'll connect this pivot top through this pivot. So not only do you have this pivot high and this pivot high, this would be a downsloping trend line that we can use as additional resistance. Although the midline is usually a great opportunity to take advantage of a swing short, you could have momentum that takes it all the way up to around $518 on this. So this would be more of an add level, knowing that anytime it gets rejected and then bounces, consolidates right inside of that, it could flush up or bust out. But usually when it hits the upper end of this parallel channel, it should get a pretty nice rejection. The next one I'm going to go over is NVIDIA. So this is a hidden trend line that I had mentioned in previous videos. It connects this low from the 5th of August. Notice how it got support on this, this hit, second hit, third hit, finally broke below. Once price action broke below on the price chart of NVIDIA, then you got a rejection, and then this was the third rejection. And look at this pullback, a 20% pullback right into this gap fill. So what I'm going to do now is show you where the likely potential is for the for support. And actually, we're currently into support. If you connect this pivot top, secondary pivot, look at how price action has gotten support all along this upsloping trend line. So if you're interested in going long on NVIDIA, based on the fact that this is an upsloping trend line that's connected previous pivot tops as resistance, once price action got above, this is support. And so as long as it can stay above $170.88, you're likely to continue up even higher. I don't know if it's going to go back to the all-time high around $211, but this is your support level. If this support level breaks, then watch out below. You're coming back into this pivot top right here. This was also a previous all-time high. Price action likes to come back in and retest, as you can see right here. So $152.39 would be your next upside, or excuse me, buy level if this upsloping trend line does happen to break. One cool thing that I'm also noticing about this support area, let me go ahead and remove this because we haven't broken this upsloping trend line yet, is you've got another trend line on NVIDIA chart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this previous all-time high. Actually, I'm going to take this pivot high, connected to this secondary pivot, and look at where price action is getting rejected today. Got rejected right off this line. This is creating a nice wedge pattern. Price action can stay in this a little bit longer. The apex of it would be around the 17th of December. And this would give you more information on the direction of NVIDIA. Third hit favors a pullback, so it can come back into $170. And then once it hits again on this, then you're likely to make a move higher, probably head back up to $207, this gap fill on NVIDIA. So a couple different things we're eyeing. We're watching this downsloping trend line right here and this upsloping trend line right here to gain support. Okay, so that's what I have for you. Thanks as always for being members. Thanks for commenting. I appreciate all the feedback that you guys give me. It's really been fun. And thanks for all the stock tickers. The last couple videos were stock tickers that you guys chose, and I just analyzed them for you. Rigetti was a great example of an inverse head and shoulders pattern that you guys requested, and that thing played out quite nicely today. Overall, I did like the setup of that. I may not have necessarily gotten into that play right away, but that breakout was great. So now on a retrace, if it drops back into that that inverse head and shoulders pattern neckline, that would be a great opportunity to also get in for a trade to the upside. So thanks again. If you guys are getting something out of this, please share with your friends. It would mean a lot to me. I would appreciate that. And make sure you're liking, following, and subscribing so that way you can get notified every morning or whenever I post these videos for you. And that's what I have for you guys. And we'll see you guys next time in the charts. You guys have a great rest of your day. Take care.